Oh, welcome back. Over 50% of young Africans are likely to consider moving abroad in the next few years, and that's according to the Africa Youth Survey. But you've got to wonder, what are their reasons behind this? It's often a multiplicity of reasons. Let's try and unpack that. It's all according to research by the organization. It's the Aduzi Empowered Program. Let's hear from their head of marketing, Mathabo Sekonyana, making time for us this afternoon. Mathabo, hello. Good to have you with us. Why do young Africans want to leave? What's their reasons? We'll talk numbers in a moment. What's the main reason that you're seeing on the research?
I think what we anticipated to see from the research were, the usual scourges that we see, which is, economic difficulty, people, high youth unemployment. But what we're seeing that was really surprising were huge issues around safety. People simply do not feel safe in this country, and we're seeing that more in that youth contingent.
Youth contingent, certainly I would agree as well. I imagine when it comes to safety, women and the attacks on women in our country and young girls is also a concern. Are you able to narrow down, zoom into that kind of data? Are we seeing more concerns of safety from women than we are in men?
100%. When we look at women, this is the majority of our survey was anyway answered by women, which is testament to the fact that safety is their biggest concern. And then seeing that 81% of the people surveyed, of which I would say between 60 and 70% are women, they are saying that their concerns are GBV and femicide.
And then let's talk economics as well. There's always been a perception, and depending who you talk to when it comes to immigration, some are saying that young people, young Africans, are wanting to leave for better job opportunities. They can simply make more money overseas, A, or B, they can actually get a job overseas. Is that what your research is seeing as well?
Our research is showing issues around the economy, issues around the lack of job opportunities. But what we're seeing is it is a lot more complex than one thing, but rather speaking to a quality of life. And safety is a big part of that.
It is, and I don't think watching the news all day certainly helps as well, especially when it comes to young people who prefer to rather be on social media and not worry about all the biggest issues, which they should be worrying about, but you don't have to worry about it all day, which then makes me think, of course, if not here, Mathabo, where? Do we know where they prefer to go? Because often you hear about your most common places for immigration for South Africans, one of those being Australia. It's the most common, I think, arguably. The other is somewhere like Canada. Do you know where we're going?
While our research did not focus extensively on this, we do know that Australia is one of the big players, but in general, it's following more that global trend around a brain drain. If you've got a people who are unhappy where they are, and you've got a skills shortage elsewhere in the world, it simply matches up. And I guess it's a sad day for South Africa that we're seeing some of our talented youth leaving to go elsewhere and provide those skills there.
What are the sort of skill sets that people have who are considering going overseas? Are we seeing certain sectors, certain qualifications that are more interested, more prone as young Africans to want to leave the country, more qualifications in a certain field?
So again, while this was obviously not the focus of the research itself, where we are seeing is really in the areas of need, which is more in trade type of skills. So more skills of the hands.
So give us a sense then of what else the research was focusing on as well, for someone who has finally got a sense now that there is a lot more youngsters wanting to leave. What else was the research telling you?
The biggest thing was looking at GBV and femicide. So, for example, one of the sample sizes was when we had our talk at UKZN, where 64% of the women there were saying that either them or someone they know had not only experienced GBV, but also not reported it. A second part of that was looking at where people are feeling the most unsafe. And in South Africa, we see people feeling most unsafe in public transport, whether that goes from e-hailing or something like a taxi. And then also looking at in which areas they're finding the least safe spaces. What was interesting was to see school children saying, I don't feel safe at school. There are issues with bullying. I don't feel safe at home. There's issues around abuse in the home. And then looking at a slightly older youth, so kind of the more university going, saying, even when I'm out or out with my friends, I'm also a target. And I don't know how to defend myself should I find myself in an unsafe situation.
It's very sad to hear that there's young people in schools, school-going age, saying that they don't even feel safe in their own schools. They'd want to rather leave and go to another country. As well, forgive me if you may have touched on this, Mathabo, but I want to just get a sense of the ages that we're talking about, because you've just spoken about school-going ages. You then said a slightly older age gap of university goers. What are the sort of ages we're looking at here? Give me the brackets.
So where we have focused our energy is on high school children and then university. So anywhere from the ages of 14 to the median at the end of your first degree, which is around 21, 22.
I was about to say my first degree was 25. I'm not sure about the 21, but well done to those who finished their degree on time as well. So what do you now as a company, you're the head of communications and marketing. It's one thing to talk to me about this, and it's very interesting for someone watching. What do you try and do with this sort of research? Who do you hand this to? Who wants this kind of information to do what with?
So I think, and I just want to start by saying it's a sad thing when you are telling people not, don't hurt people, don't rape people, don't, practice GBV, but rather you're telling people how to protect themselves. But at the place we are at as a country is really about urgent action, which is what the Aduzi Empowered campaign was there to do. Research is important so that you understand where the biggest areas of need are and what the needs are. And what we're doing with that is we are offering free training, free tools around a self-empowerment workshop that teaches you one life-saving technique that you can use. And we are offering this for free for school children as well as for any universities that are interested. And we've already piloted this last year, starting with a school in Deep Sluit. We've done UKZN, and we are now doing across the country, other universities and schools to ideally just make people feel a little bit more safe and a little bit more comfortable in the country.
It's a great initiative, and I know if I don't ask you, I'm going to get lots of tweets telling me that I didn't ask you for the information where people can go if they'd like to take part in this, be a part of this, just to go and see what it's all about. So where do I send people to, Mathabo, to get more information and get them to take part in this?
So I think the first place is right where they find you. So across social media, you can find us at Aduzi Lifestyle. You can drop us a DM, and we would be happy to assist. Of course, outside of that, we've got our website, www.aduzipower.co.za, that can send you straight an email shoot to us. And yeah, we would be happy to assist any way that we can. I think this is really a time where, as South Africans, as business people, as the private sector, we need to also step in and take this urgent action ourselves.
Yeah, especially when we're hearing so many youngsters saying that they're considering leaving, not even waiting for their parents to make the call. Now the youngsters, high school and university age, deciding this might not be where they want to call home. Mathabo, thank you very much indeed. Fascinating to unpack what the youngsters are saying and thinking these days when making big life decisions like emigrating. That was Mathabo Sekonyana, Head of Marketing and Communications at Aduzi Empowered Program. All right.